Hey, and what's up? Welcome back to, and as always, I'm your host, that GA Country Boy. Got a good one for you guys today. Not gonna hold you up. I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm just recalling a childhood memory when we first started hunting on the farm. So on the farm, you had two types of hunting that you would do. You would either do day hunting, which we did very rarely did many of that because we had so much work to do. The second one we do night hunting. And our grandfather, he truly believed in night hunting. And he was one of those Southern mans from the farm who, when I say he hunted with his dogs, meaning he had a bunch of hound dogs, meaning we would take four at a time. It would be myself, sometimes my brother, and maybe my two other cousins, and then the grandfather and the dogs. So we'd be all have the trucks with the cages, the dogs in it, and we'd go with him. So when we first started this, when I tell you, it seemed like an adventure. And just like every adventure comes with some dangers, comes with some ups and downs. So let's get into the story. But before we get into the story, hey guys, thank you for showing up and listening to me every day. Now back to the story. Um, so this is what was going on. We're out. We got the dogs. It's about four of us kids, meaning my brother and me and two other cousins and the grandfather and the dog. Okay. So when we first started this, we were all excited because we got the grandfather to go with them, got the dogs, got a bunch of leash, and we'd hop in granddad's truck. And this is how it all started. We would we would get in the truck, all the dogs would be barking, and we'd leave the house and he'd drive somewhere. It's nighttime. I'm talking, we started probably around 12:30 at night. So we're starting at 12:30 at night. It's pitch black outside, and again the dogs are barking. He's driving to probably, I'd say, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half away somewhere. And we end up in the back of some pitch woods. He's taking a dirt road, or then off the road to a field, the side of a field. You're riding beside the woods and the field, and it's just when I say it's scary, one of the most scariest things ever. That's why I said this was like an adventure. So we're looking at him, looking outside, and all you see is nothing but woods. And you see, when the light shines, you see eyes. Yeah, small eyes, big eyes, little eyes, just whatever's out there looking at you. It could be bugs, it could be small creatures, all of it. All I know as a kid, it was a little scary and intimidating. But you had to hold your nerve because you were granddad. And we just were still riding around, bumping around these fields. And lo and behold, we get to a spot. He says, "All right, boys, we're here. And, let's go ahead and let the dogs out." We're all like, okay, we're here. And every one of us looking at each other like, man, it's dark as I don't know what outside. So he's like, hey, I said, let's go. And everyone starts to slowly open doors, get out. We hop on the back of the truck, open the cages, take the leash off. He's like, let him go, let him go. Dog takes off, boom, all four of them, just running. We're just sitting there looking at him like, okay, what do we do? He's looking at the direction they go in. Now he's just still in the truck, arm out the window. He's like, all right, boys, whatever, let's just hang out for a minute. And he tell two of the boys, he said, I want you to walk down to the end of the field, take these two lights, and I want you to pull up some of those peanuts that's out there. And we're like, okay, what they about to do with that? So they pull up some peanuts. They go walk down to that thing, pull up some peanuts, come back, and he tells to me and my other cousin, he's like, dig a little hole. We dig a hole. He had a little shovel on the truck. We're in the farm. We had everything we need. So we dig a hole. So the guys get back with the peanuts. He says, um, he told us to, how did he say? He said, now go to the edge of the wood, grab a couple of tree branches, break them off. We broke them off, and he said, throw them in the hole. We threw them in the hole. He says, now, there's some paper, stick under there, light a fire. We lit a fire. We lit a fire, and the fire was going. Now, mind you, if you've never picked peanuts, when you pull them out of the ground by the top, you have the top, which is all the leafery, and then you have the bottom, which is the roots with the peanut on it. So he said, okay, now take it upside down, meaning put the leaves on top of the fire, all the peanuts, and the peanuts would be up top. So we did that, and lo and behold, it's the first time I ever did it. Like I said, grandfather knew a lot of tricks in the farm and, in the South. So he called them parched peanuts. Basically, they were cooked right there over the fire. and we were able to eat them. So we had a snack waiting on the dogs. And you say, waiting on the dogs for what? So what the dogs are for, the dogs are treeing animals. They're actually running through the woods looking for large animals like rabbits, raccoons, those kind of things. Sometimes it'd be deer. It just depends on what it is. Most of the time, if they're chasing a deer, you hear them, they can go for miles and we have to find the dog. But typically they'll go somewhere and they'll tree something. It's usually a raccoon, possum, something of that nature, squirrel, something like that. He heard my grandfather would lean out the window and he'd say, "Quiet, boys, quiet, quiet." And we'd like all get scared, like, what's going on? He would lean out the window and he would listen for the dogs. It was certain sounds that he would hear that let him know the dog has treed, running, or just like still, moving around. And I never picked up on those skills. So I'm a country boy, but I never got that far. That's levels. Anyway, so he sent two of us, remember it's 4 boys. He sent 2 of us to go check out the sound of one dog. Then after being there for a little while, they were actually gone for, I'd say, at least 10, 15 minutes. He's like, "Hey, call me by my name." And I told him my nickname, Pop. "Pop, I need you to go down here. I hear one that's down here in front of us on the left." I'm sitting there thinking like, I didn't say anything. I froze when I'm just looking at him. He's like, "You understand? You hear me?" Froze again. He's like, "Do you hear me?" I was like, "Yes, yes, Granddad." I said, "I hear you." So I take the one of the lights and I start walking down there. As I'm walking down there, man, I'm thinking like to myself, how the heck did you get yourself into this kind of stuff? I guess because you live there and you have to do it and you're on the farm, I guess. But man, this is just mind boggling. So needless to say, I walk all the way down. I can hear the dog faintly and I'm going through the woods. And you ever walk through the woods at night? And like I said, seeing those little eyes when you're shining flashlights, this is scary. And the sounds of ruffling of bushes, man, I don't know. I don't know how I held my nerves, but just because I knew I didn't want to face this old man, so I better get to this dog. So I'm hearing the dog now. I can kind of hear him. Got a very good sound of where he's coming from. Like I'm tuned into him. So I'm heading that way, and then all of a sudden I pick up a sound of water. I'm like, oh crap! I hear water, and I don't hear just water like little splash, splash. I hear it running like rushing water. So I fast forward the story. I get to this point to where there's a little bit of a river, kind of creek running through, and it's rushing fast. And it's about, I'd say at least about 6, 7 feet wide. I don't know how deep because remember it's nighttime. And I look on the other side, 6 or 7 feet, the dog is sitting on the bank. He's just, because he needs help and he don't want to come across. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I told you, you don't want to go back without the dog because you got to face Granddad. And this, just trust me, you don't want that. So I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, stupid mutt. How did you get over there? Get your ass back the same way. But anyway, I take a little stick and I started poking the water and slowly, step in. And as I got the third step in there, my foot just took, and I almost fell. And I'm like, oh, man. And I put the stick down, and the stick just blew out of my hand. I was like, okay, time to get serious here. So I started dragging my feet on the bottom. I make it all the way over, almost slipped and fell and got taken wherever. Imagine that with the flashlight in my hand and the water, don't know where I'm going, and the pitch black dark. Man, that would have been a nightmare. But needless to say, your boy made it to the other side. I grabbed the dog. And these dogs, all the hunting dogs, I don't know, for some reason, they had no names. We didn't have names for them. My grandfather, he just made sounds. They came to him and they did whatever, but these dogs didn't have names. So I grabbed his ass, "Get your ass over here." And I grabbed him, and when I say I lifted him lightly to the other side with a little toss. He landed on all fours and took off. Left me over on the other side where he was and took off back to the truck. Or some ungrateful mother. But listen, man. So now I got to get on the other side again. So I actually start to do the same thing, slide my feet. I fall, catch myself from going down the creek. I drag myself out. I make it back to where he is. He's laughing, looking at me like, "What happened to you?" Because I'm wet and I'm cold and soaking. And I'm just saying, man, I'm a young man who, I didn't find him in that. I really didn't. I was like, I wanted to tell him so bad. This is my thought. Your damn mutt made me fall in the water, and then next time his ass is gonna be left over there. But I knew I couldn't say that because I would catch a beat down most likely. And this is during the era for me when I was raised. Laying hand on your child was a common thing, but I understand today's era, you don't do that. Well, tell that to my grandfather, my grandparents, and all them who raised me. Anyway, I make it back there. Like I said, he laughs, and now my brother and two other cousins, they make it back there looking, and they're laughing too. So everybody got a good laugh, and I guess the old man felt like, yep, let's take it in because, Pop is cold and we don't want him to get sick, and it is in the middle of the night, and we haven't caught anything. But that was our first time out at nighttime hunting with the dogs and granddad. And I got to tell you, I almost lost my life over a freaking mutt with that little flash river. Hey, if I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I would. I'm going to be honest with you. Scruffy Duffy will have to figure it out. You got your ass over there, you should be able to get your ass back. That's the lesson and moral of the story. But if you're a dog lover, hey, yes, for you, I'll tell you what you need to hear. I would have dove in, back swam, forward swim to get to him just to save him. And I did. I hope that made you feel good. But anyways, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.